Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to talk about fighting, really. I mean, I think we need more fighting.
Yeah, I think we've agreed. We've came up with a list of people that should fight.
You know the whole make love, not war, give peace a chance? I think we're over it.
Yeah.
It sounds like just a good old-fashioned fist fight is what people really want.
Americans are known for our ability to fight against adversity, fight for your dreams, fight for what you believe in. Get in the ring and fight it out.
Fight it out. Fight to see who is posting their dance videos on the superior platform.
Yes. Don't dance it out, fight it out.
Yeah, I feel like we've been talking more and more about fights lately, and today is we have a really special one. I mean, we had, what is it, the second biggest fight of the decade?
Yeah.
I mean, right?
And there was another fight that we talked about that probably got the most impressions, and they weren't even asked to fight.
Not even sanctioned. No ring in sight. So anyway.
Sunset 4.
Sunset 4. So this is all about fighting, and we're going to talk about it. And as you can tell, we're a fan, and we'd like to see more of it. So I really hope someone who knows how to do really high-level events gets involved here.
Yep.
It makes this a regular part of our viewing pleasure.
And then we touched briefly on politics, and Tim and Anand might have to fight.
All right.
Yeah.
I think we could sell some tickets to that.
Yeah, definitely.
I think we could sell 50 tickets.
Yeah. I think we get way more than 50. If you guys actually fought.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I say we
could rent out something big.
Yeah. Yeah, this is great. Okay, cool. Well, we have our own fight coming up. Who's ready for the episode? That, and of course, and many more topics. Who's ready?
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, group chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
All right, here we are.
You were fresh out of, looks like a golf game that you played the other day in Palm Springs.
Yeah, I'm out in Palm Springs. I'm really soaking up the Palm Springs lifestyle. I also feel like I went from 30 to 50 really quickly.
I did see you post the Tiger Woods emoji. So you're feeling yourself.
I've been taking some golf lessons. I don't know if I told you or not. And I'm seeing the results.
And so you played by yourself, you said yesterday?
No. So here's the long story short of it. I don't really know anything about golf culture yet, right? I'm new to this. So golf isn't just the sport of golf. There's this whole, probably similar to tennis, but there's the culture of how you act in clubhouses, and you got to wear polos with your shirt tucked in and all this stuff. And so I got out here, and we've been to Palm Springs a million times. We realize there's a million golf courses here, but I don't know how any of them work. And so, the place we're staying is right on PGA West, which now I know is kind of a well-known golf course. And so I'm oh, that's cool, but didn't think anything of it. But then in my check-in instructions, it said for tee times, go to this link. And I was like, what? I can just make a tee time? I thought you had to be a member. I thought there was this whole thing. So I call up and they're like, yeah, here's whatever, make a tee time. So I made the tee time. I show up by myself, and I'm really hoping, because you know me, I'm a little antisocial when it comes to meeting complete strangers.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe I'd get to just play by myself. I didn't. I got partnered with a guy named Drew. Great guy. Me and Drew really hit it off. He's actually he works in the jacuzzi business. He manages the supply chain for jacuzzis.
So he's on fire. Drew's a rich man.
Drew's a rich man because we've been talking about jacuzzis, right?
Yes.
So Drew's making sure they get all their parts and there's no disruption. Maybe he's having a little bit of trouble with China. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But me and Drew paired up, and we were just buddies on the course, living the Palm Springs lifestyle.
How old was Drew?
I think Drew was probably 40. But Drew's a Michigan guy.
No idea about your celebrity. You're a Hollywood guy. He just thought you're just a random deciding.
Just tall white guy
with some tattoos.
Well, that's what I was hoping, right? That's what I was hoping. And then there was a moment when these two other real Palm Springs golfer dudes pulled up on us, And I didn't bring any of my like proper gear. I didn't plan on really playing golf. I happened to have my clubs in my trunk. So I had on long pants and it's like 105 degrees. And so these guys pull up behind us and they're like, yo, I don't know how you're surviving in pants. And I was like, oh yeah, I didn't plan right. And they're like, hey, quick question. Is your nickname Drama? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, my buddy there, I guess he used to watch you or whatever. And then Drew, very sneakily, because Drew had already asked me what I did. We already did the business politicking golf course thing. And Drew was like, hey, did I hear those guys say you were on a TV show or something? And I said, yeah, a while ago. And he said, oh, cool. And it just sort of struck me as like, if you didn't know, you might have asked more questions. But I think Drew just sort of...
He knew.
He had an inkling. Oh, guess what? This is even better. Drew lives in Michigan from Ohio.
Wow.
So he definitely knows who you are.
I don't know. He played it cool, man. Drew is like Zach Bia. He can be around...
Did he try to sell you a koozie?
He didn't. He talked about how hard it was managing people. He told me a story about a 19-year-old... gentleman in one of his warehouses that shit his pants the other day.
Actually shit his pants.
And he was just talking about, managing adults and can't believe people are still shitting their pants. And, Drew has the same problems we all have. And
frankly, better to shit in his pants than in the jacuzzi.
Good point. Very good.
Because you have to drain the whole thing.
Yeah, it's a disaster.
Yeah.
Disaster. So Drew really kept it cool. If he did know anything, he didn't act like it. He gave me a lot of tips.
Was he better than you?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Drew's been playing for a long time. Drew's dad played, and he got him clubs when he was 20. Oh. And so Drew's been playing for quite some time. But, I hung in there. I had 2 pars.
Nice.
So
wow.
My ratio is increasing.
Nice.
And last question on the golf. How were the tattoos viewed when you're in the clubhouse, when you have to slang those racial slurs to fit in?
You listen to rap, don't you? He's not one of us. So everything was fine. I got yelled at because I didn't know you're not allowed to bring your bag into the clubhouse. And I did that. And so I got yelled at for that. And then Drew
actually yelled at, or someone just like ran up to you like, hey, sir, can you please?
Oh, they just reprimand. They just said, hey, we don't do that here.
Yeah. We don't take kindly to your kind.
I got it. But Drew wasn't upset about my tattoos, but he was very inquisitive. He asked me a lot of questions about that. Which one's my favorite? How many I have?
Oh my God.
So did you do the like post golf hang in the clubhouse?
No. So here's the other funny part of the story is I looked at tee times at like 6 p.m. the night before, and essentially my only option was 6 a.m. or 10 a.m. And so you know me very well. I opted for 10 a.m.
Yeah.
The thing that I didn't plan for was, a round of 18 holes takes about 4 hours. That puts you in the prime hottest point of the whole day.
So it's the worst tee time.
The worst tee time. And that's probably why it was available. And so me and Drew were out there. He's a Michigan guy. He lasted longer than I did. On the first 3 holes, I was like, this was stupid. I have to go home. I have pants on. I have a polo. Like I'm sweating my ass off. And then I played 9 and I was like, Drew, I got to bounce, man. It was like 1 p.m. It was 1 p.m. I was drenched in sweat, sunburned. My arms were starting to burn. I was like, Drew, I'm out here, my guy. But Drew was like, all right, and just kept on trucking. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So did you save up enough energy for the second fight of the century?
Oh my gosh. You better believe I did. I mean, yesterday was probably in my adult life that I'm settling into was one of the greatest days ever.
Golf by yourself.
Golf. You met a new buddy named Drew.
Golf with my jacuzzi buddy. Had a nice round of 9 holes. Came home. Got a couple minutes of pool time and some reading. And then soared right into second fight of the century. TikTok ass beating extravaganza.
So high level, I don't know all the players. There was like 45 fights on this undercard.
I think the fights that matter were Taylor Holder and Gibb.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Bryce and Austin.
I saw a phase guy beat up somebody.
Jarvis was a big one.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a big one because Michael Lee's a really big TikToker, and FaZe Jarvis is obviously really well known. FaZe Clan, remember he beat the shit out of him. That was the worst probably beat down of the night.
Wait, so who beat up who in the FaZe?
No, it wasn't. Bryce got it worse. What'd you say?
FaZe beat up the other guy.
FaZe beat up other guy. FaZe is on fire. It's cover of Sports Illustrated, kicking ass.
Yeah, I mean that's a hot week.
Oh, so he was one of the guys on the cover of Sports Illustrated and beat up some guy last night.
I don't know that he himself actually was, but
the team was on. I mean, it's a great team win.
There's another extravaganza after the fight that I want to talk about, but let's keep on the fight.
So the thing the big takeaway from the fight that I got was TikTokers are pussies.
I mean,
they just got pummeled.
Yeah, it really looks that way. I think TikTokers are too new to this stuff, man. They're kids. You know, they came in 6 months ago. They were dancing their way to fame, and now they're getting punched in the face. That happened so quickly. Austin McBroom has already went through all the trials of being a celebrity, making money. You know, he's probably seeing limited options moving forward. You're ready. You're hardened and ready for this. These little TikTokers, man, they were just searching for which dangly earring to buy 6 months ago, and now they're literally getting the shit kicked out of them.
So Taylor's fight I didn't get to watch his fight, but I saw enough on social media. It sounded like he got his ass beat, but they called it a draw.
He did, man. And I'll be honest, that was a real shocker because Taylor Holder was like, look, training-wise and form-wise, he was by far the best. He looks like a real boxer. I think that was the one that everyone was like, okay, well, Taylor's going to beat the shit out of whoever he fights. I don't know what else is going to happen. And he lost. He undeniably lost the fight.
So you think, could you beat up Taylor or Bryce from what you saw?
Look, I think in private, I would give it a go.
Just not on TV.
So then the fight of the night was obviously Austin versus Bryce Hall.
And for those that don't know, Austin McBroom is a YouTuber that has a huge, enormous YouTube following.
Sold out Staples with his family. I don't even know what they did there, but they sold out Staples.
Yeah, so they have a family YouTube channel. I think they have 2 kids. I could be wrong. 1 or 2 kids.
Yeah, I don't know.
And him and his wife, and they've become the YouTube family. And I know it because my friend Glenn Travis wrote a song for them, and like the song became so big that like helped launch his music career. And so Austin himself is obviously a big star in his own right, and Bryce Hall is kind of the it kid on TikTok.
Yep.
I don't know why he chose to fight each other. I don't know if someone.
I've heard him on BFFs. He said there's a unknown reason that Bryce wanted to fight Austin, but he wouldn't say the reason. So there was beef.
Okay, so it's probably over a girl.
Probably
is my guess. Austin married?
I bet Austin was like hitting up Addison or something.
Yeah. So Addison Rae's boyfriend used to be Bryce Hall.
Yep.
Got it.
So
rough year for this kid.
So Bryce Hall talked a lot of shit leading up to this, said he'd been in over 40 street fights or something, and that he was ready.
What street?
Outside of Boa. Like literally outside of Boa.
Like Sunset and Bel Air? I mean, come on.
And then I saw a TikTok of them putting up $1 million each betting. Austin's like, you're not going to beat me. I'll put up $1 million. And Bryce said, okay, I'm in. And we saw the fight.
So that's the purse. It was $1 million.
Separate from whatever, that was $1 million each. Separate from whatever they negotiated from pay-per-view buys or whatever.
Yeah.
So, does Bryce Hall have $1 million cash to give him?
100%. I think so.
Okay.
You think so?
Yeah. I think these kids
Do you think he's going to pay him?
I mean, after getting that beating, I would pay him. I don't want that guy coming over my house and beating me up again.
So the fight, for people who didn't see, what round was it? I was
3.
on an illegal stream driving to my Amanda's sister's birthday dinner, trying to watch as quickly as possible before we had to park and go inside for dinner. So I caught the literal ass beating. I didn't know what round it was.
I think it was 3rd round.
At 3 or 4, I forget.
Yeah.
But he pummeled him.
Yeah, it wasn't even, I wouldn't even say it was close. I mean, I think Bryce was like a little tougher than I thought. Like he took the beating.
Yeah, he did take it. He wasn't, I'll tell you, he wasn't backing down. He wanted to keep going at him.
The fight should have been called when his nose was bloody and he's like, no, I can still go. And then he got one last uppercut, boom, and they had to call it. And so I give him credit for wanting to even get back out there.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. You know, I got into a huge Twitter war with a lot of people last night because I said Jake and Logan Paul saved boxing, and all these boxing people lost their. I mean, the problem is like a lot of people with a lot of followers retweeted me and dissed me, so it turned into like hundreds, if not thousands, of people piling on me.
Yeah, that's great. That's what you want, though.
Yeah, it's honestly so easy to be Clay Travis. It is so easy to just mock people and let them come at you. It's literally like a lob. I'm like, oh, boxing, here you go. Politics, here you go.
I think it's maybe the closest we have to like, you know, how girls can like show their tits and ass on social media. You know, you're going to get action.
Yeah.
Like I think that's what we have, right?
Yes.
You can say controversial shit.
Yes.
And we'll just fall for it like it's tits and ass.
Yes.
They can't help it.
They can't help it. And what's interesting is
I missed all these tweets I'm reading.
Oh, you see it?
You got to read it.
Wait, you gotta read
He said, I want to see Tucker Carlson versus Don Lemon.
I have some other good ones.
Yeah, some other good ones.
The tech nerds one.
I want to see Twitter tech dorks fight. Anyone who says, here's a thread, needs to fight each other. Here's a thread on how I got my ass beat.
Someone said AOC versus Marjorie Taylor and quoted it and said, great fight.
I'm not kidding. I think there is an opportunity here for someone to become a billionaire off of organizing all of this shit. Because here's the thing that blew my mind is not really, I thought like this thing's going to be an absolute mess. It's not even going to be entertaining. And it's going to be like you saw that clip from Aaron Carter, Lamar Odom. That was a joke.
That looked amazing. I would have bought that too.
Sure. But my point is, I agree. I would have too. But my point is, I thought it was going to be like 3 hours of that. But like every one of those kids spent, you could tell, at least the last few months actually training. There was some level of understanding. Yeah. It resembled a real boxing match. Like if you made matches 6 months in advance and hyped it up and gave people time to train, and it was literally anyone from Phase this and Hype House that to like Marjorie Taylor Greene and AOC, I'm telling you, you have $1 billion.
So, I totally agree with you. And I think, you know, when I was arguing with people, they were arguing about the sport of boxing. I'm arguing that Jake and Logan Paul may have revolutionized the sport in the sense that all this new industry is about to be formed, whether we like it or not. So I went on ESPN's TikTok, and the whole thing is the Austin McBroom and Bryce Hall fight. And the views are fucking bananas.
It's because that kid, Omar from House of Highlights.
Yes.
He runs ESPN Social.
Okay, and then they did the other fight, the UFC one, which apparently was a big fight.
Yeah,
that had the reaction of FaZe Clan has 6.5 million views, and the winning punch on the Israel fight had 1.5 million views. So at the end of the day, what actually matters is money. I don't care about the sport. It's about money. All we care about is monetizing these assets, and you can monetize these eyeballs. And everyone's comparing pay-per-views on every single event. Cool. These kids who watch these fights were never going to watch some of these UFC or boxing fights. They're watching it because their favorite creator is fighting. And I actually think pay-per-view itself is not even the right medium for it, because the idea of paying $49 to watch it seems ridiculous. So I think that has to evolve as well. But I agree. Like, you know what the biggest fight of the week was? Not Bryce Hall. Not Israel fight, not whatever boxing happened. It was the Phoenix Suns fan versus the Denver Nuggets where this guy beat the fuck out of a fan and said Suns in 4. If those two got up and fought,
the impressions on that fight,
100 million
is
it's 100. Half the country saw this.
It was unbelievable. This two guys were like
in the stands
talking shit to a Suns fan, and this bigger white dude beat the living shit out of both of them.
And he was the Suns fan?
The Suns fan. And then, so the other two fans actually instigated.
Yes.
They threw the first punch.
Yeah.
And then he just uppercutted the shit out of him, then beat up his boy and goes Suns in 4. Suns in 4. And these two ran out of the stands.
Ran out of the stands like scared.
Oh, that's incredible.
And this is what people don't understand. If let's say I was in this world, I'm getting those two guys in a ring this Saturday.
But they should just be the halftime show at the next game.
Yes.
Did that clip get more views probably than any, or more impressions
than the game for sure?
Any highlight from the series?
100%. And from that same night, it was Friday night. I showed up late to dinner because I was watching Sierra Canyon play their high school championship game. It was Bronny, it was LeBron on the sidelines, and Drake.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what we want to see.
J.R. Smith. And
J.R. Smith.
Like they don't even get mentioned. There was like, imagine that. Imagine being like
I saw
Anthony Davis was there.
And I saw Diddy's kids, the twin girls. Are they triplets? Are they?
I don't know.
They're twins or triplets. Like they go to Sierra Canyon. Clearly, I saw them in this. I mean, the stands is so star-studded. There was more stars at that game than any NBA game this week. And
there's a clip that goes viral, like before the game starts, Bronny goes over to his dad, who's LeBron James. Yeah. He's like, getting some last minute advice. And then Drake daps him up. Like, how cool is that?
And arguing with the ref.
Yeah, I said the video was
Drake was arguing.
But this is what sports fans or like sports purists will never understand.
So at the
you
same
have to
time,
make it entertaining.
The Suns and Nuggets were playing.
Yeah.
I'm a huge basketball fan. I was watching a high school basketball game.
Yes, I watched that game too.
What Bronny was doing. I want to see what Drake's reaction was. What's LeBron's reaction? Yeah. And the only takeaway from the Suns Nuggets game was the fan beating up the other team.
The fight of the century.
That's incredible. Fuck the mascot doing backflip dunks on the trampoline. Just put those two in a ring in the next halftime show.
Yeah, and I think that's what people don't understand with what Jake and Logan Paul did. They've opened this whole new lane because, by the way, Floyd Mayweather is never going to fight a real fighter ever again. He's going to fight these types of people. He's making the same amount of money in the range. I mean, 1 million pay-per-view buys, I looked it up, puts it top 25.
Well, and look, here's the argument, I think, because to be honest with you, I've kind of thought about this because I grew up skateboarding, which is very similar as like how boxers feel about boxing. And I used to hate anyone that like exploited skateboarding or whatever. But then my opinion changed as I got older. And one of the big things is like skaters used to say that about Rob. They used to say that about Bam Margera. They used to say, oh, they're ruining skateboarding. They're blah, 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 right? But the fact of the matter is, if your true goal is to A, improve the industry, meaning sell more gloves, sell more punching bags, or B, get more people into training that you feel so good about because of what it's done for your life, you can't really argue that more boxing gloves and more kids maybe looking at taking lessons or learning how to throw a punch didn't happen exponentially from the last 2 weeks of all this.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Like, come on. And how many people are going to, like, look, maybe not all, definitely not all of them, maybe not even most, but how many people are going to continue on and maybe become fans of Canelo Alvarez or Anthony Joshua or whatever, because they like, oh, wow, I like what all these, my favorite creators saying fighting saved his life. I mean, Logan Paul is saying boxing, he picked up boxing at an all-time low after the Tokyo thing and whatever, the Japan thing, and boxing saved his life. So how many kids are struggling? They're like, well, maybe that'll save my life. It helps. Yeah. That's why I have trouble. Like, I see the argument of like, oh, they should be making more money. I get that, but then they should have the same amount of eyeballs caring about what they do.
Exactly. This is very similar to, I remember vividly when the Kardashians started becoming very popular 10, 12 years ago. And everyone's like, oh, they're just reality stars. They can't sell this. They can't do this. 10 years later, they are the kings of everything because all it matters is impressions and eyeballs that will eventually convert to money. And anyone's... Go ahead.
The biggest part of that was when they entered into like high fashion.
Yes.
It was like, yeah, they can do all this shit, but they should never be in Vogue. They should never be, that's too far. And I think it was like Anna Wintour or someone first did it and they were like, what are you doing? And now they literally are.
They are Vogue.
Yeah. If you think about it, we're in the middle of the NBA playoffs. Bronny, Drake at the high school game.
Suns and 4.
Suns and 4 fan beating the shit out of two guys. Bryce getting knocked out.
Yeah. I mean, look on ESPN's TikTok. 2 weeks ago or a week ago when the Logan thing happened, SportsCenter didn't talk about it. Nobody was talking about it. It wasn't on anyone's social media. Now everyone's like, a week later, like, we missed up. Like, on PTI, the first topic Monday morning on Stephen A. Smith's show, First Take, the first topic should be, did you watch the Bryce Hall whatever fight?
And it won't be.
But that's a mistake. You want young people. Don't talk about some baseball game that no one watched. Like, talk about this.
Yeah. And also, I think it should be, there's like this big complaint of like, a lot of fighters have said like, well, Logan Paul made 20 million. I want 20 million. And
Go get more fans.
exactly. So the point is like, no one gave the one thing, no matter how much you hate any of them, the one thing you can't say is that anyone gave these people their following.
No.
And gave them this marketing for free. So it should really be a message to every single fighter, even though you might hate it and you're in it for the art and all that shit. And that's cool, but there's one price point for that.
And if anything, you can make the argument they had to fight for their following. It's not like Netflix crowned them in the next show and said, we're going to feed you Stranger Things over and over and over again. You become the next famous
But by the
actor.
way, it's the same formula for everything in life. Everything in life, if you don't have a following, it's just that much harder. Who became our president? A guy with a lot of followers. Donald Trump. He's a celebrity. He's an old school celebrity. That's who we elected as president. So everything, it could be the presidency, it could be boxing. If you don't understand by now that if you don't have a following, it's that much harder, you're a fucking idiot.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I'm glad you stirred it up.
Yeah.
All that I'm saying is the thing that I really believe after this weekend is there is a real business to be had in doing these events, whether it's once a quarter and you plan it out and you give people time to train and you hype it up on social. Like not only could the fighters make good money, but the event itself could draw real eyeballs.
Oh yeah. If it was produced like your UFCs and your Showtime boxing type style things, like I think the next fight should be Thanksgiving Day, the night, blockbuster time with the family. The family gets around the TV and everyone gets to watch their favorite creator whoop some ass.
And see if it beats the NFL ratings.
I mean, impressions it will.
I really like the idea of tying in some sort of like political media personality battle. Like I think maybe a good way to unite the country is to fight it out.
Yeah. So someone suggested, which I said Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson. Everyone said Cuomo, Tucker Carlson would be a better match.
Yeah, that'd be good.
They're probably more in the same age range.
Cuomo looks like a tough guy.
But I think Cuomo, Tucker Carlson.
Sons and four.
Candace Owens, like Tommy Lahren or one of them.
Yeah.
No, but I would say for the sports purists that are laughing at the TikTok YouTuber fights, the Paul brothers, all this stuff, are missing the point the same way people in finance are missing the point on Reddit and meme stocks.
Yeah.
Like this isn't going
or
away.
crypto or whatever.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Well, I mean, I was really impressed. Those kids really fought.
Yeah.
They really trained. And and for how shitty that event, I mean, like for me, I don't know how you watch. Did you watch it on pay-per-view, D?
I didn't even know. You guys were texting about in the group chat and I was like, shit, how do I even get this? It was so hard for me to get the last fight on pay-per-view. So I was on and sends me the illegal stream on YouTube. So I watched it on YouTube.
Got it.
And it was fun.
I was the official way and I had like a link from some website and I clicked on that, but I couldn't watch it on my Apple TV. And I couldn't even AirPlay it. So I had to like screen mirror it. So I had to leave my phone on. It was a horrendous experience.
Yeah.
but still really great, man. That was
great. I mean, it should just be, YouTube should just buy the rights to this. And
that's what Triller tried to do, right?
Yeah, but they just don't have the means to really do it. What's $1 billion, buy out anyone who wants to fight? That's not, I mean, the Sons and Four guy, if that guy fought.
Did he get arrested or anything?
He shouldn't be. He got assaulted first.
Yeah, I guess.
Because you want to know what else is crazy? I don't really know what's going on here, but there's a big fight this coming weekend that's Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah.
It's a boxing match. He's a legit really good boxer. And it's on Triller. It's on Triller Fight Club.
Wow.
So they're continuing to try to figure this out, I think.
Yeah.
Where's DAZN? They were going heavy into fighting and boxing.
They're there. They have all the boxing fights. They have all the like Devin Haney, Canelo. Those are all on DAZN.
Yeah, I mean, they should just pivot. That sounds like a terrible idea. And they should go after the real fights.
Yeah, or just blend them all in one.
Yeah, I mean,
like I would even watch like Bryce Hall, Austin McBroom, and then Canelo Alvarez. Great.
I want to see Logan and Austin now.
Ooh, it's a good one.
I agree.
Right.
Okay. Well, hell of a weekend. And then, by the way, UFC, for anyone who watched it, Israel continues his reign as champion. I think the real moment was in the end of Nate Diaz had a fight. He's like a fan favorite. He's the guy that's always like his face is always covered in blood, as it was the other day. He like lost kind of the whole 5 rounds of his fight. Hit the guy with 30 seconds left. The guy I've never seen anyone. He was essentially completely knocked out, but stayed standing up and was just looking at him like crazy. And Nate Diaz just like messed with him and like pointed at him and whatever, and didn't finish the fight. And the guy won.
Oh my God.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You got to watch it. It's the last minute of that fight. You could see the highlight easy, but he hit him so hard and the guy was gone. But he stayed standing and he couldn't finish it.
Okay. Combat's hot.
Yeah, but he did say at the end on his press conference, Nate Diaz said, "We're having an after party at my house. I'll post the address on my Instagram, and it's hosted by the Nelk Boys." So
wow.
YouTube
yeah, they dropped a seltzer. That's why.
Shotgunning it all weekend.
Yes, that's what it was. Okay.
Okay, so there you have it. Guys, you want to talk about Liquid IV for a second?
Perfect timing. I am deep in training for this Grand Run Club half marathon.
Yep, that's key. How many of those are you drinking a day?
So on Friday, I did a long run. I actually drank one before my run and after my run.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good?
Yeah, I mean, otherwise I'm so exhausted. Nobody drinks enough water. That's really the problem. It's like, it's not physically possible to drink like, you have to drink 600 liters for every mile you run. I mean,
It is, man.
what do I have to give up my job to drink water? Professional hydrator.
50 liters per body pound weight. It's like anytime you see those people walking around with like gallon jugs of water, who has time for that?
I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the meathead with the jug.
No.
I just want to be a guy that has a couple packets in his pocket, rip it open, put it in water, Liquid IV. Boom. I have all my electrolytes, all the nutrients I need to stay hydrated because running in this heat, woo-wee.
I'm sure Drama needed some Liquid IV after that golf round.
Absolutely. Out here in Palm Springs, you're just sweating standing. So without the Liquid IV, to be honest with you, I don't know how anyone out here is even currently alive without.
It's probably all drinking Liquid IV.
Yeah, you need a liter of Liquid IV to like go to Ralph's.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, I stay on Liquid IV, especially training for this half marathon. It's so much easier with it. And we got a special deal. liquidiv.com. Use the code GroupChat at checkout and you get 25% off anything you order. Or if, you're picking up, 60 gallons of ketchup at Costco, you can pick it up Liquid IV there too.
Wow. Okay. Well, there it is. Go check it out. You won't regret it. You want to talk about some news?
Yeah.
Donald J. Trump. I know we haven't talked about him much recently, but the riots on Capitol Hill, obviously huge deal, absolute insanity, whatever. I think the big question, and actually the legal question that's happening, was how involved or knowledgeable or negligent was Donald Trump in that happening? And that's what we're trying to figure out.
So it's known now that, this seems to be pretty confirmed that Alex Jones paid $500,000 to organize the insurrection on January 6th. And then he recently admitted to getting his marching orders from Donald Trump. Which is now, this is where why I think people are still pursuing Donald Trump legally for the insurrection is if that connection can be made clear, then that's a problem for the Donald.
I don't think so, because I think Republicans have made it very clear that that section of the country that still is loyal to Donald Trump is so large that they're not willing to pursue it. So Mitch McConnell has already blocked any investigation further on the insurrection. Yeah. I think what we're not realized, the mainstream media doesn't realize, is how hot MAGA is. And the New York Times, CNBC, MSNBC keep bringing these topics up, but the country actually doesn't care.
But it is a legal issue that you have to pursue.
They won't. Who's going to pursue it?
Justice Department?
I don't think so.
You think MAGA's still that hot?
I think it's hotter than ever.
I do. I think MAGA's hot.
I think it's 2016 on steroids right now.
Has MAGA, okay, let me ask you this. Has MAGA less like, has it become less centered around Donald Trump as just one person?
I think it's just a complete repudiation of the woke and the far left. And they've moved people so right because they can't stand AOC, they can't stand Bernie, they can't stand Warren, they can't stand like defund the police, they can't stand all these things, and it's moving people that used to be center right.
Yeah.
Tim's fuming, but it's true.
No, it's not true.
It's absolutely when you watch the midterm elections.
Here's why it's not true, because over time, the entire political Democratic Party has shifted right, and the Republican Party has shifted right a little bit. So it's like what we're seeing.
I would say the Democratic
is
Party
actually what the left was. No, the Democratic Party has moved right since like Reagan. So if anything, we're reaching an equilibrium.
I can say with pretty high confidence that in the midterm elections, it will be a Republican landslide in both the Senate and the House.
But Tim, is your argument that a lot of these like MAGA types are not like anti-AOC and that, like, what's your argument exactly?
No, it's just that Anand was saying that the left was pulling center or pushing the center to the right, but the center is already right. So it's just kind of a flawed argument.
So I'll give you an example.
I really see all the cancel culture, wokeness, all the over. I don't know. I want to be careful with even what I say, but like over maybe softening up the world and that stuff. I do think is moving people that otherwise would be more center and having them be more open to the ideas that are coming from the bench.
I mean, you have Bill Maher, who has a progressive show.
Yeah, let me tell you, I'm going to get the exact quote. So Kevin Hart in the New York Times, because he has a movie coming out on Netflix, said, in a quote, he says, "You're witnessing white power and privilege at an all-time high." And
Kevin Hart said that?
Kevin Hart said that. And I would disagree.
And Bill Maher had about an 8.5-minute rant, basically lecturing progressives that if you're not going to acknowledge progress in the last 50 years, then I don't know what we're doing here. Like, you have to be intellectually honest with yourself.
Yeah.
And he had a point. He's generally a progressive liberal show.
Yes. He's definitely, I mean, our mom watches Bill Maher, Trevor Noah, and what's the other guy?
I think people are just done with the lecturing.
Yeah.
And they've moved the country right. Social media, New York Times, CNN, MSNBC has moved the country right.
Okay, so I agree with that. So for the sake of like moving on, I agree. Meaning, sorry, Tim, but I totally agree. I agree with that. But
you're wrong. But
what I'm asking is like, don't you think it seems to me that like the whole MAGA thing is less like blind loyalty to the cult leader Donald Trump, and it's more like a thing. Like it's I don't know. It's almost like scarier in the sense that they don't even need Donald Trump anymore.
I think that's right. I think that's the right way to think about it, because Donald Trump created this movement and now it's gotten, I would say, bigger than him.
Yeah.
In like the ideas at least.
Yeah.
And you know, there's things it's crazy how the mainstream media has pushed the country right. You could just tell in the way we talk about lockdowns and masks now post-vaccinations. Like the fact that LA has restrictions right now, given the caseload, I think we are at like 60-70% of Los Angeles is vaccinated. San Francisco's 80% vaccinated.
Yeah.
Why are there restrictions?
There should be none.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
That's a political agenda.
Yes.
What else is funny is I feel like left media is really, really good at getting the outcome that they hate. Meaning, like, I blame the left media a lot, not totally, but for even the election of Donald Trump. Because I feel like when Donald Trump was running, all they did was cover Donald Trump constantly. Like, all you did was give this guy free media. The whole presidency, all you did was cover Donald Trump. Like, all you do is, like, feed exactly the outcome that you don't want.
Yeah, because they burn people out. No one wants to hear it over and over and over again, and they burn people out, and they have them move the other side.
Yeah, and by the way, last year in our society, there has been a lot of racial progress. It may not be enough. we can all agree that we have a long fucking way to go, but there was progress. In a lot of instances, there has been progress. I am as liberal as socially liberal on a lot of these topics, but like if we don't acknowledge some of that progress, it's really, really you lose people like Anand and I who we want what's best for everyone we want, but like we're not gonna fight for everything. We're just fucking not. We're exhausted.
I'm at the country club in Palm Springs. Don't
you think Drew's voting for fucking Biden?
There's no fucking way Drew's voted for Biden.
Here's the lesson that we all need to understand. Trump gained across minority groups, across Hispanics, across African Americans. He gained from 16 to 20. He lost among whites.
Yeah.
Who just got disgusted with the rhetoric.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird situation.
He didn't lose Drew. I can tell you that.
Drew's loyal. Drew actually had on a red polo. I don't know if that was Tiger or Trump.
It's both.
Yeah, you're right. They are friends. What was Kevin Hart talking about? Just the world in general?
Yeah.
Like, what was the content?
I think it was just an overall interview of just about cancel culture, and it was just about a lot of things because he's got a big movie coming out. But to make that statement, even mention those words, even if it was mentioned out of context, because I'll be honest, I've not read the entire article, so I don't know every detail of it. But to mention that line, I think that's,
I mean, he makes like $150 million a year.
Yeah.
He's a black entertainer.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's progress.
That's progress.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
And I get it. We have a long way to go. I'm with everyone on the progress side of things, but there has been some. I mean, if we keep kind of pointing out everything we're bad at all the time,
You know what it feels like to me is like the left are the people saying that Jake Paul and Logan Paul are ruining boxing, and the right is Jake Paul and Logan Paul.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they're just better at like playing the media game. I don't think it's like right. And I watch some of that stuff sometimes, and I'm like, God, all it is like anger and fear and whatever. But they do it really well.
Yeah. Oh, they're so good.
Play the media really well, where I feel like the left like complains a lot, and so people get turned off to it.
Yeah.
I feel like Tim's going to delete the episode.
Yeah.
Oh, whoops. Where did all this audio go?
Lost our connection. Yeah. It's really, look, you're hearing this from a group of guys that are left.
Do we all vote Democratic and
blindly
down the ballot?
I don't even fucking.
And I'm sick of the left.
Yeah.
I'm literally sick of the left.
Yeah.
And I vote
sounds
liberal.
like Democrats aren't left.
Oh my gosh. All right. Next topic. All right. Let's talk about this Facebook. We talked about Facebook, how they, Apple, tightened up their security stuff, and that really hurt Facebook's ability to target people for their ads. And we talked about like, they'll figure out a different way, but it is really hard for small businesses. And we're even feeling, obviously, the impact of limited data and stuff on the work we do. It seems like Facebook's maybe in a bigger bind than we thought. I mean, people are quitting, or what's happening? Are we?
Yeah. So a few months ago, which I didn't pay attention to this, this announcement. Carolyn Everson, who's the head of global advertising sales, been at Facebook for more than 10 years. She probably saw what was going to happen to that iOS 14 update and is like, I'm not dealing with this shit. I'm out of here. And so she left, and some other senior people are now leaving. So that just tells you if the person that actually sells ads is leaving at Facebook, which was frankly the easiest fucking job on earth.
Yep.
I mean, there was nothing to sell. You just showed up and you became a $1 trillion company.
And you have to think that like Facebook would be like, no, we'll pay you handsomely to just not leave right now.
Optics. Yeah. From an optics standpoint, when I read this, I was like, I cannot believe they let her walk out the door.
Yeah.
Pay her $50 million. Who cares?
Maybe that's why Zuck was throwing spears.
Yeah.
You're right. You're totally right. That was probably like a Tim Cook photo on that stump.
Yeah. I mean, I just can't, I speak to a lot of D2C e-com people. I have not, I've heard a couple people say it's about the same, but I haven't heard anyone got better. Most people have told me it got worse.
No, I don't think it got better for anyone.
Yeah, I think that's across the board.
Yeah, I mean,
everyone's complaining that ads are just underperforming.
Yeah. And what they're doing is they're shifting dollars to other platforms. So, the beneficiaries will be TikTok. It'll be maybe podcasts.
Benefit here.
Influencer,
I have to believe that like there's a windfall into influencer spending.
Yeah, there will be. I think the challenge still is, even for say brands like us, and there are so many platforms out there. Like our buddy Anand at Aspire IQ, like. It's just us getting comfortable with like execution, right? We just have to change the way we think and really adapt to influencer marketing, because Facebook is so easy to advertise. Oh, you have good click-through rates today? Spend more money.
Yeah.
It's just so easy.
Do you think influencers have faced any dilution in the sense that you go on TikTok, there's thousands of kids who get thousands of impressions on every video?
Yeah.
So outside, the top 5 to 10 that, the D'Amelios and Addison Rays who are making millions, there's no way all these kids can be making like.
But they can make a living.
They can make, it's the equivalent of like going and being like a marketing junior person at a company.
Yeah, why not?
40,
To me, yeah, why not? I think
I think the difference is a few make a lot and the rest make enough to get by.
Yeah. And by the way, that person might be doing this on the weekend. Like I see like TikTok doctors a lot.
Oh, it's a big space.
So do you don't think like a healthcare worker, a nurse, administrative assistant, or even a doctor? Okay, for a doctor, I get it. I see Deepak from Modern RX all over TikTok all the time.
He's an influencer. The guy's got like 150,000 followers.
Yeah, and so it's obviously helping his business, and then simultaneously, you don't think like a nurse with 1 million followers
gets that FIG sponsorship?
Yeah, she's getting money from somebody, so it's additional income.
Yep, I get it. It's just a lot of work.
I don't think it's as much as you think it is.
I think if you're dedicated mainly to that, it's okay. I mean, look, I think it gave a shit ton of people the ability to make a little more.
Yeah.
And that's good news. But I think the days of like, there's 30 top ones and they're all just printing money, I think are over.
Like, for example, like I was thinking about it like this. Let's say you're a professor, okay? And you're a professor of economics at some college. And you have a TikTok following teaching economics on TikTok. Don't you think you would be in such high demand from any university if you, as an economics professor, had 1 million TikTok followers? You know what the marketing that is for that school? Like, let's say the professor is at University of Chicago, and the University of Chicago professor has 2 million followers, and you're a young person following this person on TikTok. You're like, maybe I want to go to University of Chicago. I get to see Professor Mary there, and she's the best economics professor in the world. Right? And like,
go ahead. Sorry.
But it goes back to the original conversation about boxing with like why you're following in your career matters. Because I think if a professor had some crazy following, or a healthcare worker or a doctor, like imagine like if I was getting a nose job, I'd go to Deepak. I want the one with the following. Right. Yeah, shout out D, nice nose.
Of course.
Jason's dying to talk. What's up?
There's exactly what you described that already exists. His name is Chris Sutherland.
Okay.
And he's a physics professor at USC.
Yeah.
You can look him up on your phone. He like literally exactly.
How else was I supposed to look him up?
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, smart. Yeah, wow. Thanks. Appreciate that.
New guy.
You could have did it on your computer. I don't know.
Okay, so continue. Go ahead.
That's happening. Oh yeah, go ahead.
That'll translate for that professor. Translate
to USC. It'll translate to USC.
USC book sales, speaking engagements, all.
But here's what happens. USC. I think USC and Stanford and these places don't really know how to like harness that. They don't know what to do with talent. So what does happen? That's the good news. Is those guys go have their own little podcast. They write a book. They go around do other people's podcasts. They make side money. And the relevance is that they're a professor at Stanford. And you now have no barrier to entry of, I don't even know how the fuck a professor 10 years ago would go from being just a professor to getting a book written. But now you can do that. You can do speaking engagements. You can do all of these different things. There's a lot of those guys. That guy, Andrew Huberman that I was talking about last week, even to a degree, Jordan Peterson, who's like a phenomenon in like the world of, whatever you want to even call it. But he's now sold millions of books and has this huge podcast. He was a professor at University of Toronto. He was a psychologist. He became really well known for other things. But the point is, I think there's a lot of people in that world, like the media intellectuals, that have made a shit ton of money from social media. I just don't think universities know how to harness.
Oh man, that's the biggest opportunity for colleges. Imagine if your faculty had the biggest following. It would drive so many freaking students to your school. If you had you walk into USC and your professor has 7 million followers.
Right.
Fuck. That's hot.
Yeah, there's another guy who's really good named Robert Sapolsky, who's like a behavioral science guy. And he wrote this incredible book. And now he's literally like an icon in the world of behavioral freaking biology or whatever. And it started from posting his lectures his full lectures on YouTube.
By the way, if Drew, our favorite jacuzzi guy, had a TikTok and it was about jacuzzis, when it was time for you to buy a jacuzzi, who are you going to? You're going to Drew.
Drew Koozie is what it is.
Yeah, jacuzzi.
Yeah.
Drewkuzian.
Yeah, I wish I would have brought that up to him, actually. That's why they say business always gets done on the golf course.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Go find him.
Drew. Drew actually had to head up to Stockton after this. He was a little concerned because he read a statistic that Stockton was the carjacking capital of the country at the moment.
Remember, we talked about it. It also has the fastest home growth, too.
Yeah, Drew was nervous.
A lot of koozies.
Okay, next up is we got to talk about this Jeff Bezos trip to outer space. We were saying, why wouldn't someone pay? We thought the amount was closer to $2 million, I think.
It's the bidding started at that range at 2.8.
So we read the bidding for a seat next to Jeff and his brother on this crazy trip into outer space was started at $2 million. And we were like, why wouldn't someone buy that just to be next to them? Looks like somebody did. The only difference is it went up quite a bit since $2 million.
Yeah, $28 million is what someone paid. Talk about inflation. This flight would have cost a lot cheaper.
It's a 10-minute flight. You're paying $28 million to get the gram with Bezos.
It's not. How long is it really?
It's 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think the
They're
actual
just going up out of like
orbit or whatever. I don't
and
even
come
know.
back down.
I don't know anything about space.
They're like just technically getting to space and coming back down.
That's like less time than your takeoff to cruising altitude in a commercial flight.
Yeah,
Yes.
but this rocket probably goes fast.
Oh my gosh, it feels so sketchy.
Wait, hold on. Yeah.
Blasting.
Short hops lasting about 10 minutes. 15 previous test flights of the reusable rocket. Yeah. I'm not reading this wrong.
So you're just blasting yourself to outer space, looking down for a second.
Yeah,
Bam.
but you're gonna go grab a cocktail after with Jeff and his bro after
No, I'm
this.
down for it. I'm down for paying it.
It's probably a full day. It's probably a full day.
I'm more talking about Jeff. Why?
Yeah.
Like, look, if I was Jeff, I'd wait a decade. You're super old by that point anyway. And by that time, the technology, you can probably spend an hour up there.
Yeah, and see what's really going on. I think it's more of a competition with Elon because if Jeff's in space before Elon, you're kind of a joke.
And it's kind of calling Elon like, step up.
Yeah,
Why don't you go to space?
yeah, because he's seen his rockets
It's Elon the Bryce Hall of rocket.
of rocket scientists.
Yeah.
So Bezos is
Austin
Jake and
McBroom.
Logan.
I mean, imagine Elon versus Jeff Bezos in a
That's a
ring.
great fight.
I'm going with Bezos. He's that physical discipline is just.
Absolutely.
Elon's probably a bigger guy. He definitely looks like a much bigger guy. But Bezos is just this guy's jacked.
I mean, imagine the festivities if we had Tim Cook versus Zuck for Apple privacy. Do we get a track or not? That's how it gets decided.
I mean, I'm really into this.
I'm going with Zuck. I just feel like that little anger, the anger that guy has,
spear throwing.
that Napoleon complex that kid has.
Yeah.
He's beating the shit out of Tim Cook.
Yeah, give him a sticker.
Emotionless too, just blank
Yeah.
face.
That's the
Winklevi
thing.
versus Zuck. I'd watch that.
I don't know about that one.
Oh my gosh,
Those guys are
imagine.
just, yeah.
It'd have to
Winklevi
be
would
Zuck
pummel.
plus
There's a lot of anger with the Winklevi to
Yeah.
Zuck, so that one's not
fucking
fair.
Sheryl Sandberg.
Yeah.
It gets down to fighting. That's all we want to see.
Yeah.
I really think if we are on key issues, if there
Bill
was
Gates and Warren Buffett.
if there was a fight, yeah. If there was a fight we could all watch and that would decide it for us, I'm into it.
Oh my God.
I say Or we could even vote on our 2 presidential candidates and then let a fist fight decide who wins.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Good news for the world of podcasting. But I think we got to get our numbers up a little bit. Spotify is looking to potentially buy the Call Her Daddy podcast, which is Alex Cooper, Barstool Sports. They're looking to buy it for $20 million.
Yeah. So apparently, it's partially owned by Barstool. I guess the other part must be owned by her, unless there's a media company that's a part of it.
This was a whole thing. There was a whole beef between Alex Cooper and Sophia, her co-host. It went public. Remember Suit Man? Suit Man was part of this beef. And so in that beef, they did, once they came back together and Dave Portnoy and Alex decided to go on and do Call Her Daddy without Sophia and Suit Man, they pretty much told all the details of their deal.
Wow.
And essentially, I forget the details of it, but yeah, it's a split. They each share points in it. I believe Barstool owns it, but at some point it could be, she could hang on to the trademark or something like that. But I'm guessing obviously both would participate in this deal. And then poor Sophia and Suit Man, you have this whole beef, and then 9 months later, you're
$20 million
exits for $20 million.
Jeez. So Spotify wants to, make it exclusive like they've done with Joe Rogan. Spotify, I'll give them credit. They got balls. I mean, 20 million here, 100 million there. They're going for it.
This is what Netflix did with content when they decided to just start purchasing content.
Yeah, and I think this is a top 5 podcast, right?
It's always charting.
Yeah.
Fifth biggest in the world.
5th biggest in the world. That's crazy.
But that's also crazy, the drop off. The number 1 is 100 million. This is 20 million. And it's top 5.
20 million seems low, I'm going to be honest.
Seems sexist.
And Bill Simmons got 250 million.
What do you think about that?
You know what?
Why is a female getting only 20 million?
We did
give her the bag.
Yeah, we did say
we know.
Is Call Her Daddy bigger than Bill Simmons?
I would say yes.
Probably.
Just Bill Simmons, not The Ringer.
The Ringer.
Bill Simmons is 90% of The Ringer's revenue.
I know, but you know how that works. Like you can be like, oh, we have
all our impressions.
20 million. Oh, yeah,
whatever. They can do Call Her Mommy and it'd be bigger than The Ringer.
With 2 dudes.
Yeah. Just 2. No one's listening to it.
2 mom's boys that are like, you need to be
20 seems light. Top 5 podcasts in the world?
I agree.
20 is really light. It's a steal.
But look, from what I know, these girls started this podcast. They edited it themselves, all this stuff. Dave came across it when they were really unknown. Barstool pumped it up. If they exit this thing, even if it is for 20 million, that's just a crazy.
And it's fairly new, right? It's like less than 3 years old, right?
I think. I mean, I don't really know, but I think. I
feel like Suit Man made it on my radar. I didn't know what it was until Suit Man.
But think about it. Suit Man came in, got in Sophia's ear that she deserved a better deal, started shopping around deals as if they had the right to shop it, caused this whole beef. Sophia went with Suit Man. Alex stayed with Dave. 1 year later, $20 million.
That's crazy. Like Barstool just has, amongst all their other properties, they have a podcast that isn't core to their business that's worth $20 million.
Yeah.
It's a media juggernaut. That's
company. What it is. I mean, I think they sell like a shit ton of merch. Like I think.
Oh yeah.
And I think that most of the Call Her Daddy loyalists have no idea who Dave Portnoy is or really what Barstool is.
You think so?
Yeah, because that's what when Dave went on their feed and said this is what happens. Like, I know you guys don't even know who I am, but I run Barstool Sports. We actually own Call Her Daddy. Like, there's not even it's not like part of the.
Yeah.
Like they just
Call Her Daddy mainly female listeners then?
Yeah, it's girls mainly talking about like hookups and BJs and girls.
If that's the case, this is probably the biggest female podcast in the world.
It's not even close.
Okay, so then knowing how valuable that is, I mean, at the end of the day, you would rather sell to women than men.
Intent to purchase with females is like probably 10x to males.
I mean, this thing's worth.
This is a robbery.
Yes.
Someone call Alex Cooper and Portnoy and
triple this price.
Maybe this is like a little fake news. Like maybe they're buying a percent. I don't know.
Or maybe they're like, we just want to own the podcast. You can do your merch still. You can still do this. You could still license your brand. You could do whatever you want. We just want the podcast to be on the platform exclusively.
Maybe they're just paying $20 million for exclusive rights to host it.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I think it's just licensing. Portnoy made a counteroffer originally where each host would receive $500,000 guaranteed base salary, 100% intellectual property, and higher bonuses attached to downloads and merch.
Yeah, 20 million's better.
That was for the Sophia.
That was the old deal.
Yeah, the old deal that they're trying to get him back.
This is much bigger.
Okay.
Yeah, so if she owns 100% IP, she can go sell it to Spotify.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't. She owns Barstool.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens, but smells like a robbery. Last but not least, is it true that the actual like silhouette, like the shape of Air Jordan 1 is a trademarked item now?
Yeah, it officially has been registered with the United States Patent and Trademark Office. And the actual silhouette of the shoe, it's the Air Jordan 1, Air Jordan 1 Low, and the Air Jordan 1 Low SE are now patent, trademarked, whatever you want to call it. And the interesting thing, it's done without the swoosh. So the swoosh obviously is already trademarked. That's not a problem. So it's really the shape of the shoe. And for those that don't follow footwear, this shoe is copied more than anything you've ever seen before. I mean,
it has to be
everyone
the most silhouette ever, other than maybe a Stan Smith, right?
Yeah, it's either probably a Stan Smith or an Air Force One or Air Jordan 1. Those are probably like the shoes that are most copied in popular culture. Yeah. And like every designer brand has their version of Air Jordan 1s, right? Like you name it. I'm not going to name all the brands, but they all have their version of it. And it's an interesting move by Nike because they obviously have a lot of bootleggers dealing. They have enough fakes in the market anyways. So I don't know if that solves this problem because that shit's still going to get made. The real thing, it's going after all the brands that copy the silhouette, which I actually think that's good for Nike. I think Saint Laurent doing an Air Jordan 1 silhouette is good for Jordan. Yeah, I don't think it's bad for Jordan.
Yeah, I guess I don't know.
I think if Amiri does it, I think if any of these brands do it, I feel like it's still a halo impact because people will see the Saint Laurent version. They're like, nah, I mean, like I can't afford the $1,000 shoe. I'll go buy the $200 version of Nike's original concept. But I don't know. I mean, that's how I feel. I don't like this move because Nike toys this line where they allow some stuff to go on and then some stuff they don't like.
They allowed resale, which helped Nike as a brand.
Yeah, of course.
They could have easily shut that down.
Yes, easily.
With GOAT, StockX, all that.
And by the way, they know all of their retailers that are reselling their goods. It's so obvious. I mean, every kid on the internet knows what stores around the world are reselling their shoes. So there's no secret there anymore.
I think it's a bad move, and it's just going to tie them up. They're just going after litigation, just trying to collect checks.
Yeah.
As opposed to brand building.
What level of alteration? We've not only have we seen 1 million Air Jordan 1 silhouette almost exact, but there's 5 million that are slightly different.
Yeah.
Like what can you enforce? Can you change the toe box and now all of a sudden, like I just wonder, like I don't know.
I think it's I think their lawyers are gonna have a field day.
Yeah, that's all it is. This is what happens when you hire a SaaS CEO.
Yeah, I mean, they're losing stars left and right. They're getting a patent on the Jordan 1. I mean, what are you doing? Make a better commercial. The commercial I keep getting served on TikTok is so fucking bad.
Which one is it?
It's like the one where everyone sucks. Like they're not good at golf. They're not good at tennis. They're not good at basketball. Why would I want to see that? I want to see people that are fucking good.
What's the moral of the story?
Just like give it a shot or something like that.
It's like the exact opposite of Kobe commercials.
Or Jordan,
excellence
it's just like, it's just go out and play or something like that. I literally think it was that. I was like, is this motivating anyone to just suck?
That's the world.
Go out and suck.
That MAGA's fighting against,
Exactly. Yeah, like go out and lay an egg.
Yeah, I got to see that commercial. If I speak to exactly my golf. Probably made me feel a lot more at home on the golf course. But,
Yeah, I think the first clip is someone that just sucks at golf. So that could be you.
Okay, I like it. That's why I wear all Nike. You know what I mean? Here I
You're
am.
inspired. But by the way, I don't think any of this stuff even affects Nike's sales. Consumer clearly does not give a shit what you do or what you stand for on both sides. Like politically, activism, whatever it is. I don't like remember all the brands that were canceled because they were MAGA?
Yeah.
They're on fire.
All on fire.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what Nike did. It doesn't matter what Equinox did. It doesn't matter what this guy. Nothing matters.
Oh yeah. What's up with Equinox? Businesses.
But everyone's at Equinox.
Got it.
Soul Cycle probably can't get a class.
Got it.
I had a membership for 2 months.
Equinox?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're the woke generation, and you went and signed up for.
It was free. I just canceled. But yeah.
Hey, are we about to open back up, or what's going on this week? We're supposed to the 15th?
June 15th.
That's our big day, right?
That is Tuesday.
Okay, well, I'm throwing my masks out.
Okay.
Gavin Newsom kind of like pumped the brakes a little bit.
Obviously, he wants to control.
Got it. All right, well, let's get Caitlin in there. We won't have these problems. Okay. All right. Is that all we got?
That's
all we
it. Do we have any shout outs?
No shout outs.
Race?
All right.
Race talk or no?
Yeah, big race talk. You know, it's so funny on our TikTok. Jason had posted the biggest race, and someone commented like, "Oh, that race." She was like, just assumed it went to something about race.
Oh my god! Yeah, you could maybe play on that.
Yeah, I know. What do you have?
Actually, I do have one shout out that I just realized. So this one's from Marcus Engel.
Okay.
It says, "Hey group chat team, I want to give a birthday shout out to my colleague Noah Herring, an American living the dream in Amsterdam. Besides this, is expecting a son in a couple of weeks, so loads of occasions to celebrate. I showed him the group chat podcast 1.5 years ago, and ever since we were discussing every single episode at work. Many times we sound a lot smarter and cooler on the lunch table with our colleagues powered by the group chat university. Keep it up because we need more material for the lunch discussions. All the best from the two loyal Kathys from Amsterdam."
Nice.
Like that. I like Amsterdam. Great place.
Yeah, I like it. And Anne Frank was there, right?
Ah.
There's Anne Frank Museum.
Oh.
I just like visiting the city. It's a great city.
I thought I went to the Anne Frank Museum in Amsterdam. I could be wrong.
And you're now canceled. Nice.
She'd be 92 years old today. Can you believe that?
Today?
This week, yeah. She would have been 92.
Oh yeah, it was in Amsterdam. Anne Frank House.
Thank you.
Correct.
Thank you. Know your history. Okay, that's all we got. Thank you guys. We'll see you on Tuesday.
Peace.